Συνεχίζουμε τις ομιλίες μας με τον Leon avigad, ιδρυτή της αλυσίδας ξενοδοχείων Brown και φίλο της Design Ambassador. Στη συνέχεια θα εμβαθύνει στο θέμα της ανατροπής του παραδοσιακού τρόπου σχεδιασμού των ξενοδοχείων μαζί με τον Serdar Kutucu και με τον συντονισμό του Matt Turner.
Wow. Wow, hello everyone, and good morning, Kalimera. Thank you very much for coming. And thank you, Vasily. Vasily Baltsokas, where are you? I don't see anything. Somewhere over there. Yeah. Well done, as always. Well done for another beautiful, cutting-edge, and thought-provoking conference, as you always do. And congratulations to the entire Baltsokas and Archisearch family. I hope that the video that was supposed to be there is there. But in the meantime, I'd like to tell you a quick story. I always knew that I want to be a hotelier. It always fascinated me, the mystery behind closed doors, and the design, and the management, and the international thing. Great thing. At the age of 18, I finished my studies. I didn't have any money. I wanted to travel the world. I took a backpack, and I traveled South Africa, and America, and a little bit of Europe, and to open my horizons. And in South Africa, it was strange. I saw it was in the 80s, towards the end of the 80s, beginning of 90s, when I really did those backpacking travels. I didn't have any money, so I went to youth hostels and to simple places, and I saw big signs, take me to the Hilton. And they didn't understand the logic behind this phrase. What does it mean about the Hilton? Does it mean that it's good? Does it attract me to come over there? I didn't understand. And then I kept on traveling in South Africa, and I went to a couple of few dangerous places, and all I wanted is to take me to the Hilton. It wasn't democratic back then. The travel was not as popular as today. It was expensive. We didn't have GPS. We didn't have Google Maps. We didn't have satellite connection. It was in the 80s, I'm an old guy. So bottom line, this phrase was, for that time, super effective. Back in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, America became stronger. Hi, Maria. America became stronger after World War II, and all of those small motels consolidated to big chains. Conrad Hilton, Bill Marriott were then at their peak. Big conglomerates, 50s and 60s, big corporations. All the hotels were, palaces of marble. Everything was beige. Everything was okay for everyone. Nothing was super cutting edge. Nothing was super edgy. Nothing was super personal, but it was super effective. In the 70s, the counterculture started. Peace, love, hippies, 60s, 70s, all good. And this kind of counterculture started to spread down and to trickle down to the hospitality as well. A young guy named Ian Schrager that owned Studio 54 said, maybe we should create a niche kind of hotel for each and every segment, for each and every wish. And he created Morgan Hotels. The first one was in 1984 in New York, in the East Coast. Then bit by bit, and he created those funky, quirky, sexy hotels, Studio 54 style, So this was it. And then in the West Coast, another totally different style of hospitality shifted by Chip Conley and Joie de Vivre Hospitality, Joy of Life. And he started to create those quirky motels all in the Bay Area of San Francisco and LA. And he created Yvette, your hotel matchmaker. So you would put in, it was the beginning of the internet, you would put in your preferences, if you like music, if you like cinema, and if you like theater, for example, he created a full theater-styled themed hotel. Beautiful. So this was in the 1980s as the antithesis. if the thesis was conglomerating big companies, antithesis was Ian Schrager, Chip Conley, and the likes, we started to see something in the middle. In Europe, back then, Klaus Sendlinger started his revolution with design hotels. And I remember after the fall of the Berlin Wall, I saw some ads that looked like invitations to parties, and it was actually a selling product for his hotels and for his design hotels. Amazing, provocative, thought-provoking. It was so edgy, it was so cool. Each and every hotel was totally different, catering to a different niche, a different segment of people. And it was just beautiful. And then they were bought by Marriott. So as I'm saying, it's thesis, antithesis, and then I think what's interesting about today and about today's conference is the synthesis in between. Let's see some of the videos, if you may. Vasily, this is now the cue. Okay, can we hear?
Welcome to those who open their doors and those who come to meet us. Welcome to those who want to discover local delicacies and explore unique places. Welcome to those who come looking for history and good memories. Welcome to the promise of more balanced tourism with new European rules. More transparency, more responsibility, more sustainability. Good for everyone. Welcome to the new European regulation for short-term rentals.
Spray, good for everyone. And then let's click the other video. Nope, not this one. It was a short video of a guy that wanted to show the the opposite. Okay, how Airbnb, that used to be the coolest thing back in in the last decade, now people want something else.
The writing's on the wall. It's already happening in huge markets. But Airbnbs, it is becoming a landmine. To navigate that landscape is just not for me. And there's people still doing it, the arbitrage model. Most of those people that were crowing about arbitrage, that were crowing about property management, whatever, they built these big portfolios, they're either belly up and bankrupt, or they pivoted hard to boutique hotels, to unique stays, to Live Oak Lake style concepts. And those are the futures, because we got to look at the macro trend here. I am a millennial. Our generation craves experiences. As the world gets crazier, as the world gets faster, busier, as artificial intelligence rapidly dominates, there's an opposite reaction innately inside of people. They want real experiences. They want memories. And so if you can design these kind of properties around that to create that and then build that emotional connection with them, you're satisfying just this innate human instinct and hunger for experiences.
So this experiential hospitality, this is, again, the evolution is moving pretty fast. We were talking about experiential hospitality 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And now so many niches are coming up. If we can continue, that'll be cool. We have only 2 minutes left. If we can continue this video. Regardless, I'm saying this shift, and this is what we did with Brown Hotels. Let's continue.
It's already happening.
This is what we did with Brown Hotels, and we created. Let's just switch to the next slide. Yeah. So what we did with Brown Hotels, we wanted to create unique experiences, soulful experiences, and we called our brand Soulful Hotels. This, when you check in at a 300 rooms hotel and check in, yes, next, yes, I'm with you. Like all this non-personal American vibe is so not us. And what we wanted to create is sort of a skeleton of family of brands that each and every one will speak to its own niche. Vasily, if we can move a little bit forward. So each and every hotel is different. Our crowd is very important to us. Our community is very important to us. The location is very important to us. When we created hotels, in a hotel on Petraki Street, right next to Metropolios Church. You know, we wanted a Greek hotel, but it was so Frenchy, so we created Greco-French, something like intimate. The personal touch is super, super important to us. The storytelling, the concept behind each and every hotel. We don't just open a hotel. It's all a process of very creative, very big and creative teams working together, trying to lead the curve and not go behind it, not following the curve. We are trying to be catalyst of real change in the neighborhoods we're working in Omonia, for example. Who thought? And we're trying to create a community via our hotels and architects, designers, graphic designers, partygoers, etc. So we're not just one. Brown is the umbrella, but underneath we do the Dave, the son of a Brown, not to say son of a bitch, and then underneath we do the WOM, the capsules, the pod hotels. The banking system really changed at a certain point, and all those branches can make amazing small backpack hotels. So we have the Brown, the Dave, and the capsules. On top we do the beach houses and the lighthouse, and then the Isla, the 5 stars. So we can cater to so many crowds, so many market segments, and so many people, and so many nationalities. And each and every hotel is very, very unique. There are only 3 things that combine us all. The music, it's always 70s, black Motown music, disco, fun, happy, kind of a warm, soulful music. The scent, that is always the same. And the library, our famous library that is wherever you are, you'll see it, whether it is 5 stars, 3 stars, 24 rooms, small villa, boutique hotel in a picturesque landmark, or a 300 rooms big Hilton hotel. So, for example, Domino Brown on Themistocleus Street, we wanted to name it something else, but the building was so amazing. The building was so unique with its domino faces, a building from the 1920s. We couldn't not name the hotel Domino. You know, it was really calling for it. So this is something that I think that not only for us, for the Browns, but I think that for the hospitality will follow us in the next, I'd say, decade. You know, the changes are so rapid. Who knows what's happening in 20 years? But I think that AI and technology, again, do you remember I talked to you about thesis, antithesis, and then the synthesis? So at a certain point, everything was robotic. We started serving with robots. All our mini bars used to be sensor-based. Everything was so technological. We were speaking with our guests via apps instead of actually talking to guests. So this was a thesis. I think that now we're going towards the somewhere in the middle, the synthesis of having happy hotels, super experiential hotels, fun, personal, very unique, very much immersive in the local community. But at the same time, we must move on, we must move forward, we must cater to so many small, I wouldn't say small, but so many niches that are now expanding. Gen Z. Who thought we should have a special hotels for Gen Z? But who's actually writing on a desk? I mean, nowadays, when Gen Z and millennials are going to work in hotels, they work in their beds on one of those cushions that you work on. That's what you do. Who's actually working on a hotel? So another, and this, I'll finish by this. I think that another niche is the WOM. WOM is word of mouth, also womb, something very comforting, something very enveloping. And when the banking system started to dismantle of its branches and everything became digital, 350 to 450 square meters locations in the best locations in town started to immerse. And we said, you know, let's create something with it. Let's do something with it. And so we created pods that you can actually stand in, and you climb to the bed, or you stand and then you go underneath the other guy, and you get total 100% privacy. You get your own safe, your own TV, your own slipper, bathrobe, best linen, best mattress, but you pay 30 euros, 35 euros. And you have your own sink and soap. You have your own app. Everything is very communal, like a youth hostel, but you get your privacy. And I think it's those kind of niche hotels, together with the long stays trend, together with the homey trend, all those niches will just be stronger and stronger, become more popular. And I think this is a good way forward. You know, everything will become, in my opinion, Serdar, we'll talk about it in a minute, will become much more interesting. He says slow, I say experiential, but I think that this will be a very, very interesting decade for hospitality. So this is about it, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you.